Embedded devices in IoT. Embedded devices in IoT are the devices which are required to develop a complete IoT application or to develop a complete IoT project. It is essential to know about the embedded devices while learning the IoT or build the projects on IoT. Embedded devices are the objects that build a unique computing system. Whenever we are developing an IoT application, we will require hardware as well as we will require software. So this particular part is considered as the embedded devices inside the IoT. So when you are developing a standalone application, it is not needed that we should be connected to the internet. And when we want to upload the data onto the cloud, at that time only it is required that we should upload the information on the internet. So an embedded devices actually runs as a single applications. So we're going to see what are the hardware components that are required, and then what is the software aspect of these embedded devices inside the IoT. However, these devices can connect through the internet connection and able to communicate through other network devices also. So you can see over here is that the embedded devices are available inside the computer system. When we are talking about embedded devices, there are peripheral devices in IoT or in IoT project. They are sensors, actuators, drivers, drives, embedded system. Now, when we talk about this peripheral hardware, at that time we need to also take into the consideration that we are connecting those things in the IoT to the Raspberry Pi or to the Arduino or Uno. They are also the hardware components. Now, when we talk about the embedded system, we also need to take into the consideration that we require the Wi-Fi module or the Bluetooth module, Ethernet module, Zigbee protocol, ISDL protocol. Because whenever we are connecting the things with the hardware chips like Arduino Uno, right? At that time the communication must happen. So for that purpose these protocols are needed, because I need to connect the Arduino Uno to the computer system also. When I want to upload the data as a final product on the internet, the computer system must be connected with the internet through the Ethernet port. So these are some connections services which are required as a part of embedded system. The first part of embedded system is peripheral devices. These are some connection services. Now the local area network, metropolitan area network, wide area network, these are required to send and receive the data from one location to the another location. If we are talking about connecting these modules to the internet, so internet is also available over here in other devices. As I have told you that we can make the use of some uh, chips like means the microcontroller like Arduino Uno or the microprocessor like Raspberry Pi. So in embedded system hardware, the two parts are actually there. So the embedded system can be of type microcontroller or type microprocessor. As we were discussing, both of these contains an integrated circuit. So in embedded system hardware, we must consider this particular part. So there are some hardware components that we are actually considering over here. The essential components of embedded system is a reduced instruction set computing family microcontroller, like some of the example that are taken over here. The most important factor that differentiate these microcontrollers with the microprocessor like 8085 is their internal read-write capabilities. Because see, when we are talking about the microcontroller, it is having the capacity of doing one or another task. But when we are talking about a microprocessor, it is basically the computer itself. The computer itself runs using the processor, not using the microcontroller. So the essential embedded device components and system architectures are specified below. So this is the hmm, basic view of the basic embedded system, wherein you can observe over here is that there are sensors, inputs, controllers, notifications through the microcontroller, RFID, GSM, and the display unit as the output. And in embedded system, the another aspect is embedded system software. So the embedded system that uses the devices for operating system is based on the language platform. As we write the coding for Arduino Uno, at that time we install the Arduino software on the computer. Then we code over there. We upload that particular code into the Arduino microcontroller basically, and to the Arduino using the breadboard, we have connected some or another sensors. So the software is an undividable part of the IoT project, mainly where the real-time operation would be performed. Why? Because using the software, the graphical user interface or the console of that particular Arduino software will tell me that the current room temperature is 25 degrees Celsius or 30 degrees Celsius. Why? Because there is the liveliness that is available over there using the software. Manufacturers build embedded software in electronics, for example, cars, telephones, modems, appliances, etc. The embedded system software can be as simple as lightning controls running on 8-bit microcontroller. They can also be complicated software uh, like for missiles, power control systems, and airplanes also. So what we have studied into this particular video is that when we are talking about the embedded system for an IoT project, so at that moment of the time, we need to consider about embedded system hardware as well as embedded system software.